know that you're not part of the nation. You're not part of the country. You're not part of what they're building. They are that bold. So people are seeking a sense of belonging because you know you don't belong. We all want to belong. We all want to belong, and we don't want to be in a place where we are not wanted. And there's a way out. There is a way forward. So I'm going to play the video of the day. As always, our brother is there to teach us things that we don't know so that we can move forward in our efforts to dismantle the 1999 Constitution.
Just before the September 28, 2022 commencement of campaigns in the 2023 round of elections in Nigeria, NINAS had put out a notice of interrogatories to the political parties that will be going into that contest under the 1999 Constitution. And those interrogatories were 10 in number. And we made it clear that the promises and manifestos of the political parties will be subjected to scrutiny along the lines of those interrogatories. I have a copy of that Guardian newspaper here, and those interrogatories are still sitting there. We deliberately slowed down in that engagement so that we don't heckle the parties. We allow them to bring out all of what they say they are going to do to solve the problems of Nigeria. Now they've done almost all. There's nothing. They're only now repeating what they've all rolled out their manifestos. They are going, trying to amplify it. So this is the time to come back to engage the hard questions. We are surprised that the media, that should have been the fourth estate of the realm, the one with the constitutional responsibility to interface between the ones in power and the populace, the ones seeking power and the populace that will be governed. We are surprised that the media in Nigeria, for some reason, maybe there could be reason, maybe it will just be a matter of not paying sufficient attention. We are surprised that the media, who have been holding interview sessions with these candidates, have not asked them any of these hard questions. Because those interrogatories relate to the promises that have been made, the promises that were likely to be made, the promises that have now been made by way of the manifestos of the party and their campaign promises generally. Those interrogatories began with the question of unity, which every one of them is offering. They have that across board. Everyone say, I will unify the country. I will unite the country. Some of them don't even know the meaning of unifying and uniting. Yet they say they want to bring everybody together. They know that there's something wrong. Everybody is saying they want to leave the union. And so they will say they want to unite the country. What is the meaning of uniting the country? And so our number one on the interrogatory list is to define that unity away from the unifying that happened in 1914 that is being kept still by brigandage of unitary constitution, command and control, the unity of the goat and the lion, the unity of the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, there are only two persons, the man that is lying dead and the one that is alive. If that is the peace, when they say peace of graveyard, the unity of lion and sheep. And so those who are coming to say they will unite, they will unify. NINAS is saying that unless we go to the structural injustice, as Chukwudifo put it, unless we address the reason, unless we address the cause of the agitations. What is the reason of Yoruba people for saying that they are fed up with the Nigerian Union as presently constituted, and therefore they want Odua nation? What is the reason for the Biafra agitation? What is the reason for Ijaw, agitation for resource control? What is the reason for the agitations in the Middle Belt concerning if anybody cannot interpret what Samuel Ortom is doing as agitation, then such a person needs to go back to the kindergarten. And so there's this agitation, there's this tearing apart, there's this, determination to leave union. And candidates are coming to say, oh, you will unite them, we unify them, without addressing the cost factor which the Constitution represents. It is the unitary constitutional arrangement that is choking everyone, that is the reason for their wanting to leave, is the reason for the disunity that has now become violent. And so, that is the number one interrogatory. Those who say they are coming to unify, let us ask them how. Because in every one of them, in every one of the 10 interrogatories, we put forward what the problem is, we put forward what the solution should be, and anybody who is saying is coming to solve outside what the Constitution, creates, outside what the Constitution imposes, is talking trash. Because the day after the election, he will then come to tell you, oh, we didn't quite know that the Constitution was bent this way and that way on that subject. So as it is for the question of unity, we dealt with the question of security. You are going to provide security. Some of them are talking about recruiting more policemen. Others are talking about buying more guns. Whereas the basis, the source of the insecurity in the manner we have seen is the fact that those who are suffering from the insecurity are not allowed by your constitution to arrange their security. Arms and ammunition are on the exclusive list. Police and army and other security services are on that exclusive list. And so the controllers of the federal government, the Fulani controllers of the federal government, who are in exclusive control of all the arms and ammunition in the land, will on one hand open the gateway for Fulani to come from all over West Africa to come to your community to kill, without any one of them being arrested to date. Whereas you, who have to be invaded, who is being invaded, who is being killed, like we had Governor Samuel Ortom say repeatedly, cannot touch any weapon. There's nobody that is going to solve the question of security without dismantling that impediment, that constitutional impediment. We have the capacity to organize our security. If we take charge of our space and take responsibility for our own safety, for our future, nobody will come from Mauritania to begin to slaughter people in our communities in Bayelsa, in our communities in Yoruba land, in our communities in Igbo land or TV land. Because we are more than able to organize our security. The only reason it's looking intractable now is because the Constitution tie our hands to the back and put the guns in the hands of those who have an agenda to kill us and take our land. Unfortunately for us, our president is their champion. The commander-in-chief over the army and police that should have been providing that protection for us is complicit in the invasion, in the terror we suffer. The candidates that are talking about solving security, but who do not want to talk about this Fulani agenda of conquest, who do not want to talk about the constitution and the exclusive list that put the guns away from our reach, are talking trash. The media should be able to ask them, in the face of this constitutional impediment, how are you going to do it? The same thing as the first one I talked about. The media should be able to ask them, in the face of this source factor, what are you going to do differently? Because the people who are choking, except the choke is removed, you are not talking to them. You certainly are not talking to me. You want to unite me with people who owe the duty of faith to kill me. I don't want to address that anomaly of their having been in a position to do what endangers my life. And so, as it is for the question of unity, so it is for the question of security, so it is for the question of corruption. They are all coming to say, oh, we'll solve corruption this one, that way. Peter Obi say he will do it one way or the other. But nobody's asking them, like we asked in this interrogatory. The Constitution of Nigeria 1999 creates massive avenues for corruption and comprehensively protects the beneficiaries of corruption. Having given the spare key to the treasury, over to the heads of the executive branch, and having excluded responsibility to the citizen in section 606C that nullifies chapter 2, which grants the citizen his own share of the social contract. And so the government, we are saying all of whatever you say you're going to do about corruption will fail because of what is in black and white inside the Constitution, no matter how well-intentioned you are. That is what we expect the media to zero in on, in questioning the candidates for what they say they will do about corruption. Section 6, subsection 6C, that nullifies chapter 2, which provides for everything the citizen may need, including welfare and security, including equal treatment, including healthcare, schools, and all kinds of things. Things that will make life livable are contained in that chapter 2, but section 606C of the Constitution nullifies that chapter 2. So the citizen gets nothing. That's in black and white. So the people going to government house, they don't owe you any obligation. That is what it simply translates to. For young people, they don't owe you welfare, they don't owe you security, they don't owe you school, they don't owe you hospital, they don't owe you nothing. In black and white. And they have the spare key. Section 81 says the president must go to National Assembly to get permission to spend money. Section 82 says he can run government spending money subject to dubious limits that practically leaves him with the entire treasury. The governors have the same provision in section 121, 122. Go and verify, for those who verify every other thing, go and verify whether under section 6, section 6C, the government owes you any obligation for anything. Go and verify whether under sections 181, 121, 122, the governors do not have the spare key to the treasury. Go and verify under the Constitution whether in section 81, 82, the president does not have the spare key to the treasury. And then go and verify in section 308 whether those who hold the treasury, who hold control of the treasury, the president and the governors, what immunity is extended to them. They don't owe you obligation. They have the spare key to the treasury, and you can't question them while they're in office. What's anybody going to do about fighting corruption in that circumstance? The corruption, the corruption is official under this Constitution. But you think that officials are corrupt. Therefore, if you find better people, they'll be no. The Constitution mandates the corruption and protects the beneficiaries comprehensively beyond your reach. You can't even ask them what they are doing. The Constitution puts them beyond sanction. And so you have to wait for 8 years when they might have invested all the money they stole, and they hand over to somebody who will go to prison if their tenure is investigated. That's what's going on. And so that's about corruption. You come to the cost of governance. We are asking the media of Nigeria to look at these interrogatories. September 26, 2022, page 10 of Guardian newspaper has it. If you also if you Google, you just say notice of Nina's interrogatories to political parties. It will come up. So that these key things they are using they're campaigning about, how they will unify, how they will solve corruption, how they will solve security, how they will solve infrastructure, how they will solve cost of governance and bad leadership. We pointed everybody to the constitutional provisions that make those things impossible. And unless we are conniving, media now, unless we are conniving those who attend town halls, who have opportunity to ask them questions, this is your guide. Because all the things they are telling you they're going to do, they are not going to be able to do. Obedient movement people, go and look for those interrogatories. Notice of Nina's interrogatories to political parties heading to 2023 election under the 1999 Constitution. We are saying that under the 1999 Constitution, these things cannot be done, no matter how well-intentioned your candidate is. The followers of Atiku, the followers of Tinubu, the followers of Kwankwaso, everything they say they are going to do, go and check what you say is reason why they won't do. And if they tell you that, oh, when we get there, we go to National Assembly, constitution making is not the business of National Assembly. I don't know who taught the kind of lawyers who are going about running their mouth about how National Assembly will amend, which we've not made a constitution. The central contention here is that we have not made any constitution. Decree number 24 of 1999 cannot become the sovereign peoples of Nigeria. The soldiers who made the decree, why didn't they say, I, General Abubakar, now issue you the constitution? No, he said that we the people. He is pretending that we are the ones who submitted our sovereignty. He is pretending that we are the ones who wrote the articles. He is pretending we are the ones who agreed to be in formation of 36 states and 7 and 4 local government areas that have to be financed every month. That is the source of the corruption. That's the source of the cost of governance that has become so humongous. Nothing is left for the citizen. Unless those things are changed, unless those things are toppled and dismantled, nothing is going to improve. Those who are saying they will reduce the cost of governance. You have 7 and 4 local government areas that shouldn't have been mentioned in the constitution. They are listed there. They are financed every month. Who owns the money that is being shared? Who owns that money that is being shared in Abuja every month? And if the people who are taking away those allocations do not owe you any obligation, at what point are you going to get the dividend of democracy? What change will happen if you have somebody who is elected, a good man, that comes to the arena? Is he going to stop the allocation sharing of money every month as constitution mandates? As president, will he now be in charge of the coffers of the states? They are already in court saying that EFCC has no right, and I agree with them. The federal government is an entity. The state governments are their own entities. They are only cooperating in a federation. And so you can't set up the witch hunt you call EFCC and expect that governors will now come under the jurisdiction, under the superintendence of federal government on that matter. No, the governors have immunity. And that's why things have gone the way they've gone. So the candidates who are telling you they're going to stamp out corruption, they're going to reduce cost of governance, go to these interrogatories and ask them the questions we raised there about why those things cannot be done.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I have this video posted on our Facebook page, so we can actually almost listen to the whole thing. You know, we thank you, brother, for once again explaining this so-called difficult this thing for our people. Even when you explain on a Gahani shit like this with their degrees, near them or their professorship, you put a pepper Hanish.
Hunger and suffering is no more Ghanaians.
So it's amazing. So we thank you. So if you want to watch that video in its entirety, it's already on our Facebook as well as on Twitter. Go there and learn. Go there and learn. This is not about popularity contest. We're not trying to show off. It's when other people are speaking, you're speaking. Oh yes, I have to add. I have to piggyback to hear somebody. We have passed that stage. Our lives are in danger. So hopefully we can run with this information that we are providing today, so that we can do more for our people. God has given us freedom, and no rapture is coming until we do what we're supposed to do. Nothing is going to happen. It's also hunger and suffering, because he already given us a roadmap that we need to use.